Most people believe they are choosing how they respond to life. In reality, many of those responses are trained. The modern environment does not just influence our behavior, it reshapes the brain itself. And so today, we are exploring how constant stimulation trains us to react faster and think less deeply. So, after our episodes on things like reading and philosophizing, mental fatigue, information overload, so it's only in the natural progression of things that we arrive at a point where we talk in terms of looking inwards. So, this is a stage where you just want to feel totally calm and ruminate and think within of yourself, and this is kind of a path which will eventually lead you to a very balanced life in terms of perspective. So hello and welcome to this 29th episode in our series on freedom and happiness. There are people I have come across who have lost long time friendships over social media posts and not agreeing to certain things which relate to maybe political views or religious views, something which never ever even creeped into their lives or conversations when they were young or maybe 1 or 2 decades ago. In fast digital environments, we repeatedly practice quick replies, instant judgments, rapid switching of attention. Each repetition strengthens neural pathways associated with reaction. Over time, pausing feels uncomfortable, slow reading feels effortful, deep thinking feels tiring. Not because the mind is weaker, but because it has been trained differently. The brain becomes efficient at reacting, and efficiency eventually feels like identity. Have you ever noticed that at times we are scrolling through social media and we come across a certain post and we then tend to react to it? We don't know who the person is. It's only the argument that he's propounding really does not gel with the kind of thoughts we have in our head. And so we immediately react. So this is one of the symptoms of modern human life. There's this other thing that I wish to talk to you about, which I promised much earlier in this series when I had just started last year. And that is brain plasticity. And you see, what happens is that our human brain, which comprises of billions and billions of neurons, who in turn communicate with each other through neurotransmitters. So these billions of neurons are nothing but electrical circuits, and they communicate with each other through neurotransmitters which are there in the synapses which link these neurons together. So modern scientists talk about brain plasticity as something which you could think about neural pathways which get formed in our brain. Think of it as like you looking at a football field or a very green meadow, and there are certain paths, frequent paths taken by people, and there you see pathways where there is no grass, or for that matter on a slope, if you throw a bottle of water, then the water trickles down through paths. So it is these neural paths which eventually determine our thought patterns, and at times it's very difficult to break away from these. Consciously making an attempt is something which can really help us close the old paths which you could say were bad for you in terms of addictions and negative habits, and forge new ones. And this is what brain plasticity is all about. Why your brain resists change, even when the change is good. Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to wake up early, start exercising, quit scrolling, or change a bad habit, even when you know it's good for you? The answer is not laziness, it's biology. Your brain has one primary job: keep you alive while using the least amount of energy possible. Deep inside your brain is a structure called the basal ganglia. Think of it as your habit center. Whenever you repeat an action, brushing your teeth, checking your phone, reacting with anger, this system gradually turns that action into an automatic routine. Why? Because automatic behaviors save energy. The brain prefers predictability. Now, here's the problem. When you're trying to change habit, your brain interprets that change as a potential threat, not a tiger level threat, but uncertainty. And the brain does not like uncertainty. So, what happens? Another part of your brain called the amygdala becomes slightly alert. It increases discomfort. You feel resistance. You feel like stopping. This is not a weakness, it's an inbuilt system. At the same time, your brain runs on a chemical messenger called dopamine. Many people think dopamine is about pleasure. It's not. It's about motivation and prediction. The brain releases dopamine when it expects a reward. If your current habit, like scrolling or eating junk food, reliably gives quick dopamine, your brain prefers it over a new habit that promises long-term benefits, but no immediate reward. So when you try and change, you're fighting three forces. 1. Energy conservation. 2. Fear of uncertainty. And 3. Preference for immediate reward. That is why discipline alone often fails. Real change works differently. You must make the new behavior small enough as to not to trigger a threat, repetitive enough to become automatic, rewarding, enough to release dopamine. Change is not about willpower. It is about rewiring neural circuits through repetition. Your brain is not your enemy. It is simply designed for survival, not self-improvement. And so once you understand that, you stop blaming yourself and you start designing change intelligently. In the previous episode, we discussed why modern minds are always tired. And that is when cognitive load increases, the brain conserves energy. It prefers faster decisions over careful evaluation. But something more important is, which happens over a period of time, is that the brain begins to adapt to the speed. Thinking and reacting rely on different neural processes. Reaction uses fast, energy efficient pathways, which is pattern recognition, emotional shortcuts, habit loops. And deep thinking requires sustained attention, working memory, and you could say a slower neural coordination across brain regions. So the brain naturally prefers the cheaper option. So if reaction is practiced all day, deep thinking becomes metabolically very expensive. And that's why many people feel restless when nothing is happening. Silence removes stimulation, but it also removes the habit loop. So, what are the real life consequences to all this? Well, when reactive pathways dominate, decisions become impulsive, emotional responses intensify, long term thinking weakens, and external events dictate internal state. People begin to feel controlled, I would say, by circumstances, and but often what really controls them is simply trained neural momentum. This explains why reducing screen time alone doesn't immediately help. The brain needs time to build slower pathways. But the encouraging part about neural plasticity is that, you see, our brain can always change. It can change again. How does that happen? Well, it will happen when you are reading slowly, you are writing, you're having long conversations with people, undistracted walks. We strengthen neural pathways associated with reflection. At first, this feels uncomfortable because the brain is moving away from speed towards depth. But gradually, thinking becomes easier, and clarity returns not through effort but through retraining. Remember, boredom is not emptiness, it is cognitive space waiting to be filled internally. When external input stops, the brain begins organizing unresolved thoughts. Long term patterns become visible. and emotional clarity increases. But modern life interrupts boredom instantly, and with that interruption, we lose integration. You need to rebuild reflective capacity by 10 minutes of device free sitting daily, walking without headphones, reading slowly, writing without agenda. At first, thoughts will feel scattered, and then gradually they begin to organize. Without sitting with the thought, life decisions become reactive, career choices remain unexamined, and habits continue unconsciously. Freedom requires evaluation, and evaluation requires silence. In a world that trains reaction, sitting with the thought becomes a radical act. Freedom begins in the mind you train. I sincerely hope you liked watching this episode. Well, I certainly did a lot of reading and ran my thought around as to how could I really get my point of view across to you. Continue to watch this series. We are just about culminating this 32 episode series, which has almost taken a year to produce, and you will come across some very interesting conclusions which I have managed to draw on basis of all the research and the reading which I have managed to do for bringing across this content. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.